without further ado, let's get started. Jerry, lead us off. The first round is a 2-minute introduction of yourself and talk about you and your campaign, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Check.
Check. How's that? Well, thank you very much, and special thanks to all those who are responsible for organizing the forum this evening. I'm Jerry Simpson, and I'm the only incumbent seeking re-election. This is my 4th year as a commissioner, having served 3 years as chairman, and I currently serve as vice chair. I live south of Waxhaw on farm property that has belonged to my family for many years. The first Simpsons came to Union County in 1761. Lance and I spoke. He's down Oklahoma way, so we're going to work on that genealogy. We may be related there somewhere. I've lived my entire life in Union County with the exception of a few years in Raleigh and a year or 2 in Concord. That does not make me superior to anyone that may have moved from New Jersey or California in the last few days. But it does give me a great deal of perspective relative to county issues. I spent 33 years with the field faculty of NC State University working with individuals, families, businesses, and communities to develop strategies and educational programs designed to bring about positive change. I have a BS and a master's from NCSU, attended Parkwood High School, 3 sons that also did, a wife of 38 years, Sheila. As a current commissioner, I serve from Marshville to Marvin. I am an unashamed conservative who champions property rights and seeks to limit the intrusion of government into your life as much as possible. That is best accomplished by reducing regulation, restricting government to only those areas that are defined by state statute, and taking as little of your hard-earned income as possible in delivering services. In the last 3 years, I have helped legislate the long-term lease of our hospital, which resulted in a $6 million annual income stream, $54 million in cash, a $55 million expansion in Monroe, and the opening of the Waxhaw ED. We have instituted a new organizational structure that has led to a more efficient and effective government with no increase in personnel. And my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you again for coming. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is Lance Simpson. I didn't grow up in Union County. I grew up in rural Idaho in a city with a population of less than 20,000. And for those of you not familiar with Idaho, it is a red, and it's the reddest of the red states. As a result, I've always been a Republican, and I believe that government exists to serve the people, not the other way around. My parents and grandparents instilled in me the values of hard work and dedication, and that your word in a handshake means something. If elected, I will bring these values to the county commission. This month, my wife Sandy and I celebrate our 24th wedding anniversary, and our 2 children have benefited from the excellent schools in Union County, as well as the community support and just the sense of family in Union County. I served 5 years in the U.S. Navy before joining my current company in 1993. The Navy taught me valuable leadership skills and how to work alongside people from different backgrounds. Those are skills I still use every day. And currently, I'm responsible for the operations of a 10-state region, including international markets. I have, in the last 20 years, developed experience in operations management, general management, budgeting, capital planning, process improvement, and finance. And I've managed multi-million-dollar businesses. And additionally, I have extensive knowledge of the water and sewer infrastructure. One of the most important lessons I've learned over the years is to maintain your integrity and hold true to your values. We may not end up agreeing, but we should be respectful and willing to discuss the next issue that arises. And I'm here tonight because I believe that Union County government must do a better job for its citizens. We need to work together to accomplish it. My simple philosophy is one of honesty, transparency, and accountability to the citizens of Union County. And if elected, I will work with all commissioners and the community to benefit Union County.
I'm sorry, folks, I have to stand to talk to you because I think you're that important. My name is Richard Stone. I was born in Old Hickory, Tennessee, and that's just a little bit north of Nashville, for those of you who may not know where it is. And my father ran the Remington Arms plant there. During the Second World War, he was transferred to Denver, Colorado's large Remington Arms plant and ran that, so I lived there for a while. My brother was born there, and when the war was over, DuPont acquisitioned Remington and they moved him forward into Wilmington, Delaware. So during my growth years in school, I was in the Wilmington, Delaware, Westchester, Pennsylvania kind of areas. After I graduated from high school, I joined the United States Marine Corps. Spent 6 years with them and enjoyed every bit of it. During a part of that time, I was in the Bay of Pigs down there in Cuba. We had that thing laid out, and we knew that we could take over that entire island in 19 minutes. That's how organized we were at that time. Later on, I took a Mediterranean cruise on an aircraft carrier. We went into the Mediterranean, through the Suez Canal, stopped at a country called Aden, which isn't very big, but it's there. And we went on over to Pakistan, and I got to spend some time in a place that is less than desirable, folks, let me tell you. In Pakistan, most of the people get their directions from the on-site officer. After that, I came to Union County in 1970, been here ever since, and have worked and been your county commissioner for 12 years prior to this. I would like to return to your county commission. My name is Richard Stone.
You set the standard, so we all have to stand up. My name is Stoney Rushing, and I'm running for county commissioner. I'm asking you for your vote. Let me get that out of the way. Somebody said always ask for a vote. You told me that, didn't you? My family is, we live in Wingate, actually Monroe, and Wingate is more in the southeastern part of the county. My job, I am a firearms instructor. We own a shooting range just across the South Carolina line. We have a family, my wife's Anne Marie, she's an instructor as well. My son is Reagan, he's a 15-year-old at CATA. My daughter is 8 years old and she goes to Union Elementary School. We have a great county here, and I was county commissioner from 2002 to 2006. And you know, if you ever look at a perfect job for a 42-year-old male, you know, shooting range is right up there with it. I love what I do, but I also love the county. And when I started calling around, we got the $91 million verdict in, and I said, wait a minute, I've not been there in 8 years, and I understand that we don't have that laying around. What's going on? I called Mary Ellis, called Frank Akins, I believe, called several people and said, you know, what's happening? And when I talked to Dr. Ellis, I said, Dr. Ellis, that money's not there. And she said, well, the jury said it was. And I said, well, if that money's there, these guys are geniuses, and we ought to elect a commissioner for life, because it's not there, that money's not available. So there's still a misunderstanding, and there was a communication problem when I was on board. We didn't have good communication between the two boards. I've seen boards switch both ways since then, and we still don't have good communication between both boards. So we're going to have to find a new way of doing business. You're not going to unelect everybody. You're still going to have people that disagree with you one way or the other, but we can sit down and have a good conversation, and that's what's been lacking. You know, when I was on board, I'd never remember one time a school administrator inviting me to lunch to give me their vision of what they wanted to do. I don't remember anybody on the school board doing that. That's the kind of communication it's going to take, and that's the kind of communication I hope to bring.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Kim Ormiston, and I'm a Wesley Chapel resident for the last 12 years. I've been in the Charlotte area for the last 24 years. I have a degree from UNCC in international business, and I'm currently vice president of Tiva Software. My husband is a 19-year CMPD detective, and we have 2 girls. I've consistently been active in our community, first as an HOA board member. I've been our community watch captain for several years. I've served on the Wesley Chapel Board of Adjustments, and I've recently completed a 4-year term on the Wesley Chapel Village Council, where I was the mayor pro tem for the last 2 years. While I was in office, I was fully engaged, drafting charters, the mission statement, policies, grants, newsletters. It's obvious by the manner in which I've conducted business for the village that I support open communication and engage in transparency. I participated in requesting a stay on a pending lawsuit that existed before I was elected to minimize the financial loss to village taxpayers and move the construction of the fire department along. I contributed to the success of 2 multi-million-dollar large-scale projects to build a town hall and a public park, debt-free. I'm a doer, and I have a record of successes and plan to work just as hard for the county. We have witnessed the irreversible momentum of development, compounded by a lack of communication and coordination among groups, boards, and departments, which has left the county in a position of continually trying to play catch-up with funding needs across the county. By accentuating our county's assets and through the implementation of a long-term, forward-thinking branding strategy, our county can and will begin to attract diverse businesses to shore up our tax base in order to bring a prosperous reputation back to Union County. We need a new majority with a new vision to make this happen. We ask for your vote.
I knew I was going to get that kind of applause. I would have stood up earlier.
Good evening. I'm Clint Laster, and I can't stand here without first thanking my Savior for the opportunity to be here, because without Him I wouldn't be. I thank those who are hosting this event tonight. I value your interest to do your homework, to come hear what we have to say, and how we believe that our skill sets, our experience, can represent you and every person in this county, regardless of what side you live on. My wife and I moved here from Oklahoma, and if any of you have been there, you realize there's cattle and a barbed wire fence, but it blew down. There is talk about a red state. The dirt is red. So we certainly understand the value of the Republican Party. I sit up here with a lot of, if not all, individuals who have political history here. I don't. I'm not a politician. But what I am is a concerned father, a resident, and a proud member of the Republican Party. My wife teaches at Wingate University, where she teaches research, evaluation, and measurements and statistics. My 2 children, Hannah and Caden, attend the nationally recognized public school system here in Union County. I graduated from Oklahoma State University with a few degrees and minors that round out and provide a foundation for the business background that I bring. For 16 years, I have managed billion-dollar commercial real estate developments, multi-million-dollar operating expenses budgets, multi-million-dollar capital budgets and planning. I understand the commercial side of things, but the roots run deep in the agricultural side as well. I ask you for your vote, and thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Keeler. I served as a county commissioner from 2008 to 2012. When I decided to run a second time, half the people I know asked me if I was crazy, and the other half told me I needed to have my head examined. So why did I decide to run? My favorite quote is, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." In fact, I have it on my necklace. I like that saying because I truly believe that if you want something different, you have to be involved. And I think that's why every one of you is here. Well, I want something different. I want a local government that shares a common purpose with the community. I want a board that holds honesty and civility as its standard. And I want representation that truly serves the people that have poured their hearts and souls into our community. When I served as commissioner, I created and implemented the county's first ever sustainable development policies and the first ever governance policies. I also developed and chaired the first collaborative transportation advisory board. We required conflict of interest forms for members of boards that could make land and zoning decisions for full transparency and disclosure. We also implemented ongoing meetings with the towns for better communication and cooperation. And in one of the worst economic downturns of our time, I was able to work openly and professionally with the Board of Education to fully fund their budget requests with no tax increases. The County Commissioner board is a 5-person board. And I was able to do those things because we had 3 people with similar goals. And I've been in the majority, I've been in the minority. And if there's one thing that I've learned, that you have to have a consensus to get things done. Ironically, I got this in my mailbox today. It reads, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." Was said by Abraham Lincoln. So let's create a new future for this county. I ask for your vote on May 6th.
Good evening. My name is Sherry Hodgins, and I first would like to say thank you to the Union County GOP and for the wonderful dedicated women of the student union, an organization that I am very proud to say that I am a member of. I'm honored to be here with you all tonight as a candidate that is running for county commission. A little bit about me. I currently reside in Weddington with my husband and my 4 children. My oldest daughter is a freshman at East Carolina University. I have a son in the 10th grade at Weddington High School, a daughter in the 6th grade at Weddington Middle School, and a daughter in the 5th grade at Weddington Elementary School. I grew up in Charlotte, and I attended both private and public school for my primary education, and I went on to East Carolina University to earn my bachelor's degree in nursing. Upon graduation, I returned back to live in Charlotte, and I worked both at CMC and at Presbyterian Hospital, Maine and Charlotte, in the areas of pediatrics and child and adolescent psychiatry. Child welfare has always been a passion that has been very something that I have given a lot of my volunteer time to, and dedicated a lot of my focus when I was working professionally to the health and welfare of families, women, and children. After having my 4th child, I decided to support my husband in the running of our business, and I switched my focus to residential building and interior design. Although I've always been interested in politics, when there was the downturn of the economy, I found that I really had the time that I had always wanted to be able to get involved. So in 2010, I had the opportunity to run for the Board of Education. Being pleased with the system and the goals that it was achieving, I wanted to be part of that process to ensure its continued excellence. I have proudly served the county at large on the Board of Education for the past 3.5 years, placing great emphasis on listening to my constituents' needs and concerns and continuing to represent their voice on this board. I currently serve on the Policy and Finance Committees, and I look forward to sharing my experience and knowledge of our system as I hope to transition from one board to the next. I would appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you.